So I thought I would try something different today, something to lighten the mood a little, considering a lot of the videos on this channel are pretty grim. So in the run up to hitting 50,000 subscribers, we're currently at just over 43,000, I decided that we should look at some of the bootlicker fools' comments. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. First up we have Wayne Goddard, and we're starting easy, getting to the more juicy stuff in a bit. Wayne says, "Christ, this video was effing boring." Now this was in relation to the Derby police shooting and the CCTV the police refused to take from a nearby car showroom. Of course, some people may very well find some of my videos boring and some won't. I simply don't have the time to run a poll before every video and get your opinion on what content I should put out on my channel, Wayne. Therefore, I make my videos, and if people want to watch them or not is entirely up to them. But thank you for wasting your clearly very precious time to tell me what you think, and for being the first comment on this comments video. By the way, Wayne, even YouTube could tell you're a dick, hence why your comment went into the spam folder rather than being posted. Talk about wasting your time. Next up we have Spartan666. Now I'm using their channel names, by the way, not their @handle, as you can see their @handle on screen. Spartan666 says, "You should get a life. You know nothing about me, but in a few messages I've worked out you're a cock. End." Now, do you mean you've worked out that I'm a cock and written end as well as a full stop to end the sentence, because the full stop would suffice? Suffice means a full stop would be enough, by the way. Next we have a Reda Buadai Clifton, who initially thinks he knows me but then starts bombarding me with questions. "You are such a hurt little man, aren't you? Honestly, you have nothing better to do. In my opinion, your opinion as what? A YouTuber, a crap criminal, a hurt little man?" Well, no, reader, my opinion as a person, actually, as somebody who's covered many stories on my channel, over 2,000 in fact, which puts me in a better position to have an opinion than you and your 8 subscribers and 1 video that you stole from somebody else. Sounds to me like somebody might be feeling a little bit jealous. All of these comments so far are ones that YouTube deems potentially inappropriate, although to be honest I've heard far more inappropriate comments coming from Reda Budai's Clifton's mum. Scoosh McScooshington next, who is so intelligent he has to start the conversation with personal attacks. "It was safe for the police to overtake. The bellend in the white car should have been looking in his mirrors and using his ears. I hope he gets done for driving without due care and attention. You're just an anti-police trolling fat wanker." Now this is in relation to the video titled "Greater Manchester Police Car Crash." I responded to some comments. Now this is a common misconception among bootlickers and copsuckers. They all seem to fall back on this anti-police comment. I can tell you I'm not anti-police, but I am anti-bad police. You may be so indoctrinated that you can't see it, but if I was anti-police, I would be calling for them to be defunded, and I never have. So if you want anti-police, go and spew your hatred on BLM videos. As for a fat wanker, yes, I am overweight, but if I wasn't, I'd never be able to carry the weight of your mum bouncing on me. "You police by consent, you idiot," with an overuse of exclamation marks, says Farside. Of course, we are policed by consent, but unfortunately MPs have basically run away with the power that they've been given, and regardless of what we the public want, our MPs will do what they want, and that means giving consent to the government on behalf of the public without our actual consent. Or don't you know how politics works nowadays? Idiot. Tony gets a bit personal now, as he says he can see me wanking right now, with the added frauditor on the end. Tony, you do realise that's against the law and is called voyeurism. And where do these people get this idea that I'm an auditor? I've never been an auditor. Mihandle App Williams doesn't seem to like anyone. "I don't like the police and I hate you morons more." But maybe that's why you've got no videos and no subscribers. Maybe everyone hates you too. Next is a bit of a cameo appearance, as this comment comes from the star of one of my previous reports. The report in question is Army Private jailed over threats of rape to fellow recruit. Scott was sentenced at Bulford Military Court to 140 days in the Military Corrective Training Centre in Colchester. That time to reflect doesn't seem to have done much for his attitude. Easy to say for a fat ass sat behind a desk who probably still lives at his mum's. Who are you to comment on something when you don't know the other side? Do you not think he said things to me like, the kid's a lizard and can give banter but can't take it. You get what you give. I know fine well rape is disgusting. These comments that I was meant to have said have been juiced up on steroids. Laughy face. I have my reasons for just admitting these comments so I wouldn't end up with sexual harassment on my criminal record. I had no option. The kid's a grass and is definitely in the wrong job, and fuck the Daily Mirror, Jobsworth. Well, Scott, I would rather be a fat arse than accused of disgraceful conduct relating to the threat of rape and another of conduct prejudicial to good order. Clearly that time away hasn't made you think twice before opening your mouth. This video sucks. You suck, says Fran Smith. So does your mum. And by the way, where's the grammar police? Come on, sort this double space no capital letter crime out. Let's see what Auditor Frauditor has to say next. Fantastic. Let's hope this channel disappears. A shithouse of a channel. This is in fact a reply to my odd privacy complaint video I received a while back. I mean, even if the privacy complaint was upheld, it wouldn't result in my channel being removed. Besides, nobody forces you to watch it, so what is your point exactly? Now I wonder if our next comment is from Auditor Frauditor's brother. Don't you have anything better to do other than being negative towards the police? How about praise the police? Well, actually I do have better things to be doing, but this unfortunately takes up a lot of my time. In regards to how about praise the police, as I've said many times, how often does a Mackey's worker get praised for doing their job they are paid to do? What about someone who works on the till in a petrol station? You see, people don't get praised for doing what they are supposed to be doing. If you go above and beyond, then yeah, great, I'll praise them, as I have in the past on this channel. It's just that the majority of what they do is either corrupt or what they are paid to do, so there's really no reason to praise them. Here's an idea. Start up your own channel and praise them yourself. Philip O'Callaghan seems to have made a comment without thinking much about it. In relation to my video about Posey Parker, who was called by Sussex police and threatened over arrest. Philip says, "You're a twat. They never suggested they had any evidence whatsoever. They called to make inquiries under threat of arrest. Open your fucking ears." Open my ears. I'll tell you what, Philip, here you go. Just for a minute, open your ears.
Look into it a bit further to see whether a crime has actually occurred.
Okay, and before you invite me in, have you looked at the evidence to see if there's any merit to it?
We have, yeah, which is why we're inviting you in. Just to hear your side of things.
Okay, and you said it's voluntary. So what does voluntary mean in this instance?
So essentially, we're asking you to come down to Brighton. So it's going to be an interview where essentially it's a little bit more relaxed. You can, at any point you can end the interview if you'd like. You can bring the solicitor with you. But if you don't attend, then we will potentially be looking at. Are you in Wiltshire at the moment?
I am, yes.
Then potentially we'll be looking at getting Wiltshire police to come and arrest you so they can come and interview you themselves.
Okay, and you're sure that it's a hate crime based on sexual orientation?
That's what we're looking at the moment, yeah.
Okay, and you're absolutely positive, before I waste my time coming to see you, that you have substantial evidence that would point to me actually committing a hate crime?
That's why we're inviting you down, yes.
No, I really don't enjoy proving people wrong, Who am I kidding? I fucking love it. Alan Clark next with the handle Tugger Keg. And I'm not going to ask how you got that name. Stuff you and your shit, Chanel. Well, if you don't like the fragrance, you don't have to wear it. Next we have Paul Can, who pipes up with his very short but straight to the point comment, "Just respect the police, you idiot." Well, Paul, I do respect the police when they're doing their job with integrity, diligence and impartiality, affording equally the respect the public deserve to all members of the public. It's just a shame that doesn't happen too often these days. Refuse Vehicles UK has left a comment that matches his channel content as incomplete garbage after saying, You're an idiot. He's been proven not guilty, so shush. 7 days ago on a video that's 5 months old. Stick to what you know, Refuse Vehicles UK. Next we have Jim Kerr, who says something else I hear a lot. Whilst you spread the hate, at least one police officer has recently put his life before others. One of the first officers on the scene entered the lake in his uniform and tried to punch through the ice to help the boys, said Superintendent Richard Harris from West Midlands Police. So he couldn't even come up with his own comment, he had to quote somebody else. What would you or your other police haters done in the same circumstances? Well, first of all, I don't much care for what Superintendent Richard Harris from West Midlands Police had to say. Police will say whatever makes them look good in the circumstances. Also, and by the way, this is a comment about the Solihull tragedy, but was left on a completely different video about a copper who resigned before being dismissed for lying about a crime report. There were plenty of members of the public who also got into the freezing water to try and help out, not to mention the poor 10-year-old lad who lost his life trying to save the other boys. As for what would you or your other police haters done in the same circumstances? First of all, that's not a proper sentence. It should say, what would you or your other police haters have done in the same circumstances? Well, personally, I would have got in the water. I'm a pretty strong swimmer, and as I've been told many times on the channel by other bootlickers, I'm fat. And so with all that extra blubber, I'd be able to last longer in the water without getting as cold. Lastly, today we have antiviral cleaning services responding to a video about Paul Hoyle. In fact, it seems like antiviral cleaning services knows former Special Constable Paul Hoyle, who was, as reported in a video here on the channel, found not guilty of an indecent assault at Wolverhampton Crown Court on the 9th of December. They say, first things first. Oi, you fat cretin! I'm sure I just heard you mum call you for dinner chop chop. And you sad fat no good man child sitting in your bedroom collecting police items like a kid collects dolls. Wow. You keep reporting or just stick to your Xbox, chunk. Yes, this thing is a liar and tried getting its rent paid by putting an innocent man in prison. And innocent man in prison? So Elizabeth Liam Walters, you will not get away with this when you're the criminal. Yeah, that's the wrong you're, by the way. Oh, it's so brave in court, so quiet. Paul Hoyle is innocent and has lost everything because of you, you liar. Cretin. See you in court soon. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this very angry person is talking to me or Elizabeth, but either way, let me just clarify. I live on my own, not with my mum. This clearly isn't a bedroom, it's a spare room that's been made into an office. I don't have an Xbox, or a PlayStation for that matter, and let's be clear about something else very important here. He may have been cleared of the assault, but that could just as easily mean there wasn't enough evidence. But at least he now knows what it's like to be on the receiving end of the police. I mean, come on, he practically cried when telling about how he was put in a cage in the back of a police van, and how he was put in a police cell, couldn't phone his family, couldn't tell anybody where he was, and he was stressed, scared and worried. Personally, I think all plods should go through something that makes them feel that way. Maybe then they will start treating the public with more respect. Well, that brings this comments video to a close. I hope you enjoyed it. Should I make this a more regular thing on the channel? Let me know in the comments below. You never know, your comment might appear in the next one.